I honestly think that I think Esper Legends has the edge against Mono White mid range because Mono White is a mid range list, where versus the Esper Legends is kind of an aggro list. So if Damon can get a good draw and curve out really, really well, there's just so much pressure that Esper list can put on you.
I think I like Mono White in this matchup. Eternal Wander, 8 pieces
An old fisticuffs for going head to head.
Sweepers. We'll turn to Thalia. Carry on. Notably, no farewell in this list, so that's oftentimes a mirror breaker. So we see the Thalia. Ossification can still hit it, as well as lay down arms.
Mm-hmm.
We see the lay down arms come down.
But again, that slows you down a turn. It costs you 2 mana, so you really can't do some things that you want to do.
The plus, though, it does take off. Like, the Adeline was a great draw here. Had a creature stuck around, starts creating a wider board state, but
yeah, that's a great draw.
Adeline does present a potential issue where 4 mana into Wandering Emperor is usually a pretty impressive threat, like with a single creature on board, but Vigilance going a long way here. So Killy, our mono white player, going through their lines.
Notably, Steel Seraph is actually a really good play here because it's open deck list, so we know the interaction that they have would be Go for the Throat, but Go for the Throat doesn't hit it.
So Iganjo time? That ambitious farmhand aggro. You said Esper was the aggro deck. No, this farmhand is coming in. Coming
in. I wonder why there was no block there. Or would you all be afraid of the Iganjo? I see.
I mean, at this point, the life gain, like 1 point of damage, isn't worth losing your Adeline.
That's fair.
I'd argue Adeline is one of your better threats in this matchup. Because even what you can do here, double 2 drop, and that opens you up to being able to attack in with this Adeline for the turn.
Yeah.
So the Dennick's actually not the worst in this matchup, in part because it will shut off Sarah Paragon being able to target from the graveyard. Sarah Paragon lets you kind of loop these ambitious farmhands, Spirited Companion, any of the kind of cheaper creatures or permanents in the deck. Even something just like late game looting roadside reliquary, drawing cards, putting it back into your hand, back into play gets you some value.
A big notable thing here too is Field of Ruin. Looking at their list in mono white, they run Field of Ruin, and that's a big nod of a basic check 0.
So Damien flashing the credit card was like basics. Those are for budget players, all rares, all bling. So, like you answer the AO here, but it doesn't necessarily feel great because you're going to give them 1 to 2 cards.
This
is what I was mentioning earlier.
Here's kind of where. Here's kind of okay. They're gonna go with the permanent. I'm actually thinking that I would have gone the counters because Damon only has 1 answer to Steel Seraph. Or when I say 1 answer, I mean 2, which is Urtai.
I don't think you're racing the Adeline though, and I don't think you necessarily want to trade, or you just get double ossification.
What a draw! That's crazy. And notably, no cast. It gets put into play, so no tax from Thalia.
It's like Collect a Company, but for removal spells.
But for removal spells. So what do you do here?
So Damien activated the trap card there. Denik actually shutting down Takanuma as well, so can't even get value out of that. Hoisted by your own removal.
Damon's in a rough spot here.
And
one card in hand against
another
3.
Another big thing, like you mentioned, open deck lists. These Field of Ruins, you know your opponent doesn't have lands. So that's just strip mine at this point. Taking them off the Plaza Heroes, you can slowly start taking them off a particular color, or
and
just force them into using pain lands.
Basic
land mono
check.
white land destruction time.
Mono white land destruction. Fail to find.
They're going to opt to shuffle their deck.
Wayne Asman just put another body out there. You're swinging with Steel Seraph, probably lifelink.
Even just the Vigilance kind of threatens.
I think with
because Raffine's the best draw they can have right now.
With Adelaine gone, I think you just go life total because you're not really worried about them swinging into you.
Well, the thing it does force is, like, if they do draw Raffine, it potentially allows you to have a block there where if, like, they don't get the Connive. So we're going to see the Guardian here enlist. Huge tracts of land. Likely hold these lands in hand as discard fodder.
Yeah.
It's an interesting line because you can force the discard. Like, we know the hand's basically useless right now, but from opponent's side, you might consider the double block with your 1/1s. There is some value waiting 2 turns if possible, just to make all these tokens buffed up.
Late on, yeah, this is a big draw from them on the other side.
There's the ability, like you said, though, just to start pacing with a life total. If they're hitting you for 4, but you're gaining 3 a turn.
Yeah. I mean, I think
there's
at this point now, Damon's in a rough spot
Ambitious
here.
Farmhand. Okay, so double attack in order to draw a card. Ambitious Farmhand does have the Coven ability, so if Killy is able to get 2 power, 4 power, basically anything but a 1 or 3, they're able to transform the Farmhand into a 3/3 lifelinker, which can also help push through some additional like swings in life total. Takanuma is not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Does it? I thought.
Oh, it does work.
What's the wording on Denik?
Well, I guess it's a channel land, so it's not really targeting.
No, but you target in the graveyard. Do you not?
No, I think you exile a card and then you bring it to your hand. Is that how Takanuma works? You mill
cards in graveyards. No, so cards in graveyards can't be the target of spells or abilities. And then Takanuma reads, discarded, abandon, mill 3 cards, and return a creature or planeswalker. Okay.
It doesn't target. That's what I said.
It doesn't target.
Yeah.
Magic is fun.
Magic is fun. Words matter. Like they say, Joe, reading the card explains the card.
I chose to do math. I chose not to do words. All right. Cathar Commando coming in.
Okay. You still, you're 4/2 attacker. Do you choose? I guess you can block. Do you sack it? No.
Nothing to really
let it go through, right? You just let it go.
Yeah. And what Oh, with the Agonjo play, double value. Just opting to let it go. So Roadside Reliquary does draw 2 cards right now. The Steel Seraph being an artifact. So incidental value here. And we're kind of seeing what I had mentioned earlier with this Esper deck, where when you are behind, there's no catch-up mechanic necessarily.
Oh, 100%.
Raffine is going to be able to start filtering, but...
And that's the one, like I said, that's the one thing that I said where Esper falls apart, is that if you have a way to constantly take away their threats, board wipe them, constantly give them 1-for-1s, like Ossification grabbing 2 of their threats, Lay Down Irons grabbing another 2 of their threats.
Interesting decision here. I would think you'd want to hold back the Cathar Commando.
I don't think you need to. You're gaining enough life. You know you're going to get an Anthem effect.
Oh, no, but I'm saying instead of Steel Seraph. The output of damage is the same, but I'd be less... Because like now you're exposing the Steel Seraph to a Gonjo, where you could have done that same line.
That's fair.
With the Cathar Commando.
I'm assuming they have something like Wandering Emperor.
I guess could be. Okay. So it didn't matter, but I guess the line there is Cathar Commando always then would trade being 2 toughness. Like that, you're basically putting your opponent on having the Gonjo.
So what do we have?
We're seeing the Lorans, we're seeing the Disdainful Strokes. Kaido. We might see Spell Pierce come in. I actually like Urtai in this matchup. There's a lot of meaningful plays out of the opponent's deck in like the 4 to 6 mana range.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting that, a Sweeper, a Wandering Emperor. Like you don't care about the early drops. And honestly, I don't think Skrelv, like we know post board they're going to have access to Sweepers. Whether the temporary lockdowns come in, they vanquish the hordes. So you can protect against one. Skrelv does present pseudo unblockable though. And notably, was this list, if I'm not mistaken, this mono white deck might not be on. No, they are on the Bankbuster. So
yeah, they're on Bankbuster.
Colorless creatures do exist.
Bankbusters are on Stonebrain. They're on temporary lockdown themselves.
So likely you'd see out of the mono white player, the Vanquish the Hordes come in, potentially the temporary lockdowns, but I don't necessarily love it in this matchup, especially because Laran will come in post board.
Mm-hmm.
I think lockdowns are better suited for like the toxic matchup or mono white or mono red. Sorry, could see Emperor, even stuff like Sanctuary Warden is a decent threat. Hard to deal with. There's Brutal Cathar, but if you're bringing the Vanquish the Horde, it's a little awkward. You don't want to necessarily give them back their things.
Yeah, that's one thing too. You'll learn
the
hard way.
Do you think Esper gets better post board?
I think Esper does get better post board because you get more tools. You're basically cutting some creatures that you know you don't need.
Yeah. The notable thing, like, I think mono white would be a lot more favored if they had the Farewells.
Yeah. Farewells would be absolutely
the classic
brutal.
Thalia into instant. The classic 2-card combo.
Yeah.
This hand looks good. Just been the go for the throat, I think. Thalia on 2, Kaido on 3, draw a card.
No Kaido on 3 because you have Thalia on 2.
No, you just cheat.
Oh, but this allows
what I say, Kaido on 3.
Kaido on 3. Do you make the blocker? Yeah, okay.
This Kaido Planeswalker design's it's really sweet.
I really enjoy it. I know what I love about it too is that not only does it usually like the the bad thing about Planeswalkers, most Planeswalkers, is they don't protect themselves and they come out the turn that you play them. Not only does it give you a blocker, but it also phases out. So it's like double protected.
So a little bit of a, I don't want to say misplay, but just unoptimized line. I think Damien was potentially trying to garner more information with the Kaido before playing the Shieldred, but did lose 2 life in the process.
Oh, another lay down arms.
And
Mono White just having a great curve.
That Brutal Cathar just being able to pick off a token and...
Whoa. Mono, not even just that, but Mono White also... Oh, man, and they found Field of Ruin, so they're going to throw them back a turn. They found 2 lay down arms. They found a lot.
You're not in a good spot when Adelin's playing defense.
Yeah.
All right, we got a special guest. Someone's telling me she wants to go out.
The dog was like, "What are you doing? We need to go for a walk." Hello.
Soon, baby girl. It's funny. My house is very small. It's like 1,000 square feet for the entire house.
Mm-hmm.
But she somehow still loses us in the house. I'm like, there's like 2 rooms in this house. If we're not in one, we're in the other.
Mono White literally having it all. This is the classic case of they've had it all.
And this is what I mentioned too with the strip mine factor. Damien, 2 of Damien's lands hurt quite a bit. Cut him off double white. The flip, and there is the pressure to continually put out a threat as well. Otherwise, this Brutal Cathar will flip.
Yeah, you kind of have to keep casting a spell. You can't just pass a turn because then it becomes a 4/4 first strike, and then you have to pay 3 life in order to target it.
Farmhand aggro.
Hey, farmhand getting in, flipping.
You activated my trap card.
And Reliquary is still live, by the way.
Every spell you cast, take a damage. The big thing too is just AO, incidentally. Excuse me. Offense, defense.
And Emperor, and then Damon says that's enough. Get rid of whatever cards in your hand. That's pretty much like your turn 1 interaction to get rid of Thalia against your Esper Legends. It can get rid of Denek, but like it hits pretty much anything that you need it to. Especially in this mono, the matchup here, you know that they're running Steel Seraph, and you don't have the Go for the Throats aren't going to kill Steel Seraph, so you can actually just exile it with your Dreams of Steel. Cut down here is going to go on the farmhand. Yeah, play out Tenacious Underdog. Tenacious Underdog also a really, really good card for the fact of if you can't exile it, it can just be a constant aggro threat, constantly hitting you for 3, and it also draws them cards if they don't get rid of it. Looks like we got a good curve. We got Cut Down on 1, Tenacious Underdog on 2. So we have probably... it's hard to say here of what they want to do, if they want to go Flesh Gorger or if they want to go Trespasser. I think you go Trespasser here knowing you're going against Mono White mid-range because you're trying to get ahead on cards. There goes the later on arm, so that's gone. And Graveyard Trespasser actually ends up being in a way a 2-for-1 because you're making them have to discard a card in order to target it. Gotta get rid of that farmhand, gain some life, deal a damage. So ossification comes down. It's gonna hit the Graveyard Trespasser, but they're gonna make them sacrifice, or it's not sacrifice, but discard a card. They discarded a land. Two cards in hand. We have the Flesh Gorger coming down now. AO, but we know that we have to go for the throat. We can get in because Flesh Gorger obviously has Menace and Lifelink, so can't block. I think you can outpace the AO here and actually not have to worry about killing it. Because you're basically gaining 6 life a turn unless they can block it. You can potentially kill their other blocker. I'm just gonna check something here. Oh, no, so we do have Wandering Emperor coming out. This does exile 1, but is this they still have to use 3 life. Notable, usually mono white mid range usually runs Farewell, so this would actually kind of be really bad for mono black. But this mono white mid range list is actually not running Farewell. That's it's crazy ballsy. And the Trespasser it's on nighttime, so it is a 4/4. Yeah, it's still coming in here. Yeah, they just want blockers, but this is actually good. Cut down is going to end up getting rid of this other blocker here, so they can get in with the Flesh Gorger. Draw a card here. Oh, 2 cards. That's right, because of Ossification. I always forget about Ossification being on the land there, so they do get to draw 2 cards. Looks like they found Lay Down Arms. Yeah, pay the 3 life. Still a pretty big life swing, even though you trade a card for a card. Well, it looks like nothing's staying alive. 3 go for the throats in hand. No big deal. We're going to crew response. But now we... Oh, wait, no, because the go for the throat doesn't hit artifacts, so we still do have a blocker. And AO is going to grab what? Sarah Paragon. Okay. Let's just get rid of that. Now, Killy still does have a Bankbuster on the field, which is more card advantage, and we see no ways of being able to draw cards on Darkstream side. And AO coming down, drawing a land, not the greatest here. I don't know if I would have done this at instant speed. I think I would have waited till combat of their turn, because you know that they're not really going to be able to save it. To get another Sarah Paragon. Notable, I think it's... Well, they're going to be able to bring back Reliquary back from the graveyard, yeah. And then draw another 2 cards. This is one of the interactions with Sarah Paragon that's really, really cool. The fact that you can... It's a permanent 3 or less, so you can play lands from your grave. And the Roadside Reliquary being a perfect land to play, because you can sack it, draw 2 cards, play it again. Yeah, it looks like Killy is turning the corner here. Yeah, drawing another land is not great here. I guess you can attack. You're going to attack and try to pump up the Foundry, so it's a 4/4. But they have blockers here. So Sarah Paragon's going to still be able to play the Bank Buster from the yard. Steel Seraph. And now Steel Seraph's going to get something lifelink, and I don't think that the Darkstream can come back here. Don't quote me on it, but I don't see an out here, especially when they start gaining life. They have more creatures. You don't have any way to draw cards. You're down a land, and you draw another land. Yeah, that's as I say in the biz, GG's. Just wait on Joe. Joe will be back here in any second. Just out taking the doggo for a walk, you know. So we just need to take doggos for the walk. They need the walk. I think at this point right now, I think Darkstream is clock killing. So I don't think you can really come back from this position. I don't see any board wipes in their I don't see any board wipes in their deck. Let's see. They have a one of Gix's Command that can sweep the board. They'll probably sacrifice the Steel Seraph instead of the Seraph Paragon. That way they can still play things. Oh no, it's the greatest CMC, so they have to lose the Paragon. Is it greatest CMC or is it greatest power? With the highest power. Okay, so they can choose between what to kill here. Yeah, there's the concede. They're probably waiting to see if they could draw the Gix's Command. Gix's Command would either kill most of their board and then either the Steel Seraph or the Paragon, but obviously we know that they would sack the Steel Seraph so that they can continue playing cards from their yard. So put in the duress, the go for the throats come out. Jadar's out, Bankbuster out. Kind of interesting here. I think I would actually bring in the unlicensed Hearst because you know that they have the Sarah Paragon and also Sarah Paragon bringing back like Roadside Reliquary, bringing back the companion, also Bankbuster. You really want to make sure that you're being able to kill those threats from them. What else? I don't see Invoke in their list. So really just need to be foot on the gas pedal and just putting that pressure on them as soon as they hit the gate. It is kind of really hard though for Mono Black to have that that foot on the pedal, seeing as they have Lay Down Arms that is a 1-mana interaction with their spells. They have Ossification. Like Mono White does have pretty great removal. Bringing in Anointed with Affliction. George coming down now. Oh, wow. And then Cathar come down. Cathar can destroy the George or Loren. Mono White it definitely seems like it just has those punches. It has that decent 1-for-1s. I think you have to go. You have to go AO here. AO or Bankbuster. You have the removal for Seraph. Yeah, they go Bankbuster. Decent enough blocker. 3/3 is going to hold back. I mean, they're probably going to force a trade here. I think this is what I would do if I was Killy. Oh, they're going in on both. Well, you did see their hands, so you're actually not going to block with either because you know that they have Wandering Emperor to make anything first strike. I think here they can just keep applying the pressure here. I think you kind of have to try to combat trick them and let them come in for attacks and then anoint. For the attack, they're just going to exile it. Okay. I don't understand the play out of why they just played out both their spells. I think you would have keep up anointed or anoint. I keep saying anointed, but anoint with I think they would hold that up as interaction. Get the draw. Sheldred is decent draw. Again, it really looks like mono white here is really turning the corner. We're getting to the point of that crossroad where you got to do something. Let's see what kind of interaction. We know we had the anoints come in. We haven't seen any of the duresses. I mean, duress really wouldn't hit AO, wouldn't hit Steel Seraph. You're trying to hopefully hit something else. Yeah, and it's not going to be really good one-for-ones. You know they have Late on Arms, and they're almost at their 4 planes mark. That's really going to salt in the day. Darkstream just no, it's Killy. Killy's turn. Killy's into the tank. Seraph is great. I think you just give it first strike, give it flying, don't want flying, vigilance first strike. Oh, they just want lifelink. I guess you're trying to force blocks here. Looks like we got ourselves a Joe back. Welcome back. You're here seeing mono white curve out perfectly, drawing exactly what they needed when they needed it.
HearSay, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah. Sorry, headphones. I guess timed out.
Oh, you're gravy. We got mono white doing mono white things.
I'm just jumping in. Sorry for my departure.
No, you're gravy. Dogs be dogging.
Well, as in cliche Canadian weather, it's a snowstorm.
It is, yeah. It's not snowing here. We've actually it's been quite really tame here on the East Coast right now. I think today was like plus 12, plus 13.
That's summer. See, we have the beautiful opportunity where it only snows Friday through Sunday, and then the rest of the week. Alrighty.
What we have in Nova Scotia is what my dad's always said is that if you don't like the weather at the front door, go at the back, because we get all 4 seasons every day. Ossification, great draw.
See, mono white grind. Ashnod's Harvester. Okay, that's a card I gotta look up because it's
it's
a limited card.
It's a graveyard hate piece, and I was a little thrown off by it. So basically, they're trying to counteract the Sarah Paragon, but they didn't bring in Hearse.
I guess it's a more proactive approach. Lets you still put pressure on, where Hearse.
Well, Hearse is pressure pretty well late game. Like if you have a creature, like the mono black is all creatures.
Yeah.
Draw a card here. Another land. This is all the Darkshine's been drawing too. A bunch of lands.
Yeah, because the thing is, the Unearth isn't really super relevant given most of the removal is exile based.
Yeah.
And this is Killy. So we had mono white versus a gambit of mono black decks.
Yeah. It's all mono black.
I hope you bought your John Avon full art extended foil secret lair swamps just in time.
Yeah, just in time, you know. Yeah, then this is mono white turning the corner now. We've reached those crossroads. Yeah, Darksheen says I've had enough. Unfortunate. Good games. I guess that's how they got here, right? They had to outbeat all the Esper Legend lists. I mean, we got a 7-5 George here.
So Gabriel's Dark Zero, who's at the bottom. So that's the Dreams of Steel and Oil. No Invoke Despair.
Yeah.
Gix Command instead. And then Muhammad, who is Fids, is the more traditional Invoke Despair 2 Phyrexian Arena. Interesting. And we see that copy of Myrex hanging out there. You'll also notice a white land in there in the Caves of Koilos, or that's the Shattered Sanctum. That is for Path to Peril Splash in the sideboard.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be interesting to see post board. Fids, the top player, has 2 Phyrexian Obliterators in the side. I'd assume more so for the mono red matchup, but could be interesting to see if they come in against this black deck.
I mean, it could be mono red, for the Toxic as well, because they're creature based. Esper Legends is creature based, and basically any creature based deck that they can't really interact with.
We're seeing this Myrex just slowly tick away.
I mean,
I really like this addition. Like a single Myrex goes a long way, and this Invoke Despair
goes further.
Dreams of Oil. Dreams of Oil ain't doing much. So an option here is you could activate the Mishra's Foundry to sack the Foundry if you'd like. But Fitz just has a lot of different mana sinks, whether it be the Evolved Sleeper to draw cards, the Myrex. Naturally, I'm assuming they drew another Invoke Despair off the top. No.
I mean, it is in the text.
So this Tenacious Underdog could keep coming back and drawing cards, but it does come at the expense of some life, in which Darth is kind of hanging on there. Interesting. See the Foundry, notably Foundry not being able to get hit by Go for the Throat.
Can't get hit by Cut Down, though. I mean, lands is not going to do it.
All right. Swamp has been the most impactful land this tournament so far, but
I mean, and everyone's bringing out their fancy lands too.
I mean, we got favorited lands now. No longer do you have to go.
Oh my goodness!
Bankbuster's a good draw there.
Dream?
No longer will I have to use default set. The Flesh Gorge is actually pretty nice here. The question is, do you hold off a turn? Because if you hold off a turn, it's basically taking them down to 7. Or like, it's a big swing because they have to have 2 blockers back, which they don't presently have. If they kill it, they go down to 1. I think it's worthwhile
going Chase's
at that point.
Chase's underdog and swing, because you're not really. What are you holding up? You don't really have that interaction. I think you need more cards, right?
It could be just playing around Invoke here, because Invoke off the top does hit them. The Graveyard Trespasser's big here, just eating away, also presenting the second blocker for this Phyrexian Flesh Gorger. Because what would have happened there, if they Invoke, they deal 4, 10, 12, 11 damage there. Potentially a lethal line with the crew on the Bankbuster there. So probably just heeding some caution.
This is where I would fall behind, because I don't most times I try not to. You get distracted playing around a bunch of stuff. Playing around maybe
something really
it wins you a lot of games, but it definitely loses you a bunch.
Something very meaningful. This is game 1. 14 minutes on the clock for Darth.
Yeah, clock's already showed.
So
Shelly coming down is pretty big here.
Would have loved to have access to 1 more mana available. They do have a line drop, but just the potential to be able to draw a card to just insulate some life total. But 2 very impactful threats being presented with this pilot being able to crew. So 4/4 back.
Also, the Gorger being a 7/5, it's a good lifelinker.
Okay, so we have Fids digging, trying to find an answer. So Fids' list in the main board. Sheoldred's Edict won't do it. It's basically trying to find a copy of Go for the Throat at this point. It's really the only out for the deck. And we see Fids pack it up. So I think I actually would, from Fids' side, would have played that out, just given that the clock was already ticking down. Even if you took off an extra minute or 2, this matchup's generally going to go grindier. So in a tournament setting, clock damage is a win con.
So Disfigure, Dreams, Ashnod. Also on Ashnod.
Ashnod's not bad in this matchup. It's 2 bodies. It attacks into all the creatures other than Sheoldred. All right, so waiting winner of this match is going to be facing our undefeated player on mono white mid-range, who's currently 10-0, has not lost a single match all day. Oof. Well, the bottom player, Darth, is not on Invoke Despair, so a double colorless opener, not the end of the world. And that's likely the Invoke Despair going away, but a pseudo answer for a creature on 2, as well as Gix command, or Gix being able to push through some damage.
Yeah, because you know pretty much the information. Gix has kind of come out.
Yeah, actually. I like that line better. While Tenacious Underdog can present the blocker, you kind of open yourself up to removal and taking some extra points. Like this, you control a little bit better. And I think you likely bait out. Oof. So running it a little early, no clean answer for the Shieldred. Face up, there is a go for the throat. So we might just see upkeep, go for the throat, gain your life, swing of 6 points of damage. Shieldred sticking around is just like so many of these matchups just come down to like who sticks a Shieldred longer.
Yeah. So notable in a Shieldred mirror, make sure that you know the priorities. That if it's your turn, your opponent's Shieldred trigger is actually going to kill you first. So don't draw any cards over that.
Phyrexian Arena into Shieldred mirror.
Coming through.
So it's Graveyard Trespasser. It's not a bad like overall sequence here. Just going Trespasser, Underdog. You present a pretty nice board state. While the Arena will start. Oh, pricey cut down here.
Here's the cut down, yeah.
So our top player is going to be seeing 2 cards a turn at the expense of a life. However, they are going to be pressured. Edict is great there.
Edict, oh man, and I love Edict. Edict's such a good removal card.
How about land Edict into Trespasser, steal your thing? About George top deck. No, play the George.
I think they want the George.
Like
they want George at 7 mana because they want to have it a 7/5.
I don't think you can wait 2 turns though.
Not with Fizz.
Maybe the thought was trade in combat with the Trespasser.
Yeah, I think they would trade. They wanted to trade, and then they wanted to have their Flesh Gorger on 7/5 so that they can gain more life and have a bigger, beefier threat. Because even if you do try to target it, you're So there is more. There's the creatures in the yard still. So you're essentially to 2.
A little bit of a risky line here.
I think this here is them trying to pressure their life total because of Phyrexian Arena. But I think with them at 20.
Yeah, but they flip and there's 2 creatures in the year.
Yeah. They flip 2 creatures, that's GG. All right. We got a game 3.
All right, so black-based creatures win.
Yeah, mono black wins.
All right, well, I'll send you over. You want some tidbits here, say?
Yeah, please. What do you got left in there? Chocolates or honey dip?
We got 1 honey dip, 2 chocolates, and they taste like they've been sitting around all day, so not a highlight of mine.
So you don't have Timbits, you have Hoshi.
Should have gone Boston cream. Oof. Break a window throwing these at someone. As we wait for this, I'm going to have to ask you a very important question here, say. What is your go-to Tim Hortons donut?
Donut. It's really a toss-up because I love.
This is now a Canadian takeover. We're talking donuts. We're going to do an NHL trade deadline breakdown.
We're also going to do your favorite coffee as well. What's your take? Because I don't think anyone here knows what a double is.
When we're ready, we'll go.
No. You put that away. That belongs in the trash.
What do you want? You want one of 13 different Raptors jerseys? I got every single one in the drawer.
It's got to be. I'll take Raptors. I'll take the Toronto Raptors. I will never cheer for the Leafs. I'll cheer over Montreal before I cheer for the Leafs.
Hey. It's fine. We never have to cheer beyond the first round. All right, George is out. So missing a line drop here is pretty impactful. We'll see if they want to go with the gamble.
I'm still kind of I'm not that I'm weirded out, but why anoint with affliction? Because you don't have anything poison, so you're only going to kill something 3 or CMC or less.
I think the exile condition, just opting to go with something like that. A lot of the lists are like, if you look at Esper Legends, pretty much everything curves out. Like obviously in this matchup, it looks pretty bad with Shieldred hanging around, but it also deals with everything out of the toxic deck for the most part. The exile on the crawling, whatever, the 1-mana 1/1 that makes mites.
Yeah.
Tenacious Underdog, Denic, just incidental ways. So hitting the line drop there is pretty big. A couple different options here. We can see the Gix command, kind of no value. I might just go like, I actually don't mind like go Flesh Gorger here, because then next turn you could set up with a bigger Gix command.
They're going to go Trespasser, exile something, swing with no swing. I guess they want the card.
I do like having a creature. Yeah. I do like having a creature out to just get that lifelink value, since you're not going to be able to rebuy a creature. It seems like for the most part, these two decks are going to be eviscerating each other's graveyards.
Yeah, and this is for all the marbles too. This is the third game. Third game into the semis.
There's two Trespassers staring in the dark at each other. So, see, a little bit of a thing here where this Go for the Throat cannot target the Flesh Gorger, and if you do target the Trespasser, you're 2 for 1ing yourself. Duress is actually pretty solid there. Just kind of scouting out if they have Invoke here. You're able to pick it off and then go with a Gix command.
I think you don't have to do anything pre-combat. I think you can swing out here and see what shakes out of the tree.
I think I start with Duress. Just provide you with the most information. Nope, just the biggest, thickest George around.
I want big fat George out. But I do.
Right, I got Giorgio versus.
You want to be doing things kind of after your combat.
All right, see if we hit the Duress there.
Duress. So they're going to sacrifice the Bankbuster. Oh.
No, just give you a blocker here.
Get rid of the token, okay.
This Stonewall's okay. So 8:57 on the clock. So this is where I was mentioning earlier in game 1, where if they could have shaved off a couple more minutes, they're kind of a standstill. I would say Darth is slightly ahead. We obviously have the information that they do have access to Gix command in hand to deal with part of this board, as well as Go for the Throat. But Fids on the top does have Invoke the Spares in the deck, which is one of the great equalizers. In this case, just dealing 4 damage, draw 2 cards each time.
So here I'm swinging with George for sure. Force the double block, because they're going to double block to get rid of the big fat George. Go for the Throat. Go for the Throat, the Trespasser, discard the land.
I still think I Duress first. Just it gives you the most information.
See, I don't want to Duress here. Their mana's tapped. I would duress after combat.
Well, I think like so this line here it kind of sets you up where you know they have the Shieldred in hand now, so you want to be mindful that you want to keep this go for the throw for the Shieldred.
That's true, but I mean at the same
Now
time
you do have
you have the Gix's command that's gonna get rid of the Shieldred next turn. You're forcing them to like go for the double block here by swinging out first and then doing something on your next main phase. Because this is telegraphing saying that I have something versus being like, I'm swinging out, I have nothing.
well, we got the biggest George.
We got the fattest George.
Opting to put the go for the throat, looking extra useless against this artifact creature, which will casually also take 9 when you target it.
George having Menace too is huge. So we do have a go for the throat for this one.
And that should be lethal on board, actually.
That's lethal, yeah. That's lethal on board. Looks like we got mono black versus mono black, or with mono white, and we got 7 minutes to spare.
Maximizing that coverage time. Pro gamer move.
Pro gamer. Style points.
You know, I guess we can say this finals is going to be a real black and white matchup.
Looking for the latest comic book to add to your collection? How about the last card for that Magic the Gathering Commander deck? Well, the comic book store's got you covered. Shop online at comicbookstore.tcgplayerpro.com or come in person at 30 North Main Street, Glassboro, New Jersey.
This video is brought to you by MagicJank.com, the spiciest cards for your sauciest decks. Buy and sell Magic the Gathering products and gear today on MagicJank.com.
Pizza people, are you enjoying the content? Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit that bell icon as well. That way, anytime any of our new content comes out, you're able to see it right away. Hey, leave a comment down below as well. Tell us what you're going to play in the next event, or tell us what you're enjoying about the video. Don't forget, check out the description too. We've got tons of great content down below. And on top of that, we're going to have our tournament schedule too. So get in on it. Hope to see you.
But you can find me at HearSayTTV. You usually find me Tuesdays to Fridays into the afternoons. And where can they find you there, MTG Joe?
So you can find me on YouTube at MTG Joe. I do pretty much a video a day. We do a lot of meta-analysis, analytical approach, kind of looking at the best decks, kind of your coverage of all things MTGArena in terms of decks and kind of where the trends are going in the constructed space, as well as mythic level gameplay. So if you're looking for deck demos, stuff like that, usually push to mythic very early in the season with pretty much a different deck each month. If you like mono red decks, kind of my forte, but I went the Jaffa route this month and played basic forest Llanowar Elf decks, and got me there this month, but you can check it out there.
And we are on a bit of a delay.
Show the number 2 on socials.
We are in a bit of a delay, but we just got a huge raid from SBM TG Dev, Strictly Better Magic. Welcome in, Raiders. Love to have you here. Thanks for the raid. You're amazing.
All right, so we are queued up. Mono white on the play. 10-0, the perfect streak on the line.
Yeah, we're going for the perfect streak. We're trying to go undefeated. It's only happened a few times.
Months ago, we had a perfect streak. Ended. It went to match 3 or game 3 of the match, and they couldn't pull it off. Seeing Laydown come down. So crucial line drop to hit here. George coming down, and Killy just being an absolute professional, hitting the line drops on curve.
Yeah, just hitting exactly what you need when you need it.
Doing that telegraphed Wandering Emperor play.
And notable, 4
See if
planes.
George attacks in here.
Not any utility lands here. So late on arms can
I will
kill a
say
Shelly.
Killy using the best basic land art cycle, without question.
I don't know that set. What art is that? I only use the promo Godzilla lands. Those are my favorite basics.
It's John Avon, the original, I think it was Unstable.
Oh, okay.
The original unset. Those are my go-to lands of choice. And then followed by the Unhinged, or no, the second set with like the full art borderless. Those are my second favorite.
Mm-hmm. So what are you wondering, Emperor, here? Do you get rid of the underdog so you stop the draw from happening? Or do you pay the 3 life and get rid of Gorge?
I think I get rid of George because the Tenacious Underdog is a mana investment each turn. And while they do get to draw a card, they are basically tapping 4 mana each turn. It's also harder to block Flesh Gorger. But Killy disagrees with our commentary, quickly telling us to stay quiet and let the 10-0 Decklist player do their job.
Yeah, let me do my thing. Field of Ruin here, notably not a strip mine in this deck.
It could, like, it still has utility. The Mishra's Foundry. Is this version on the Myrex or not? So utility lands are for Mishra's Foundry. It could be reasonable just to take it out. So we see Gix come down, and this AO is just going to be presenting a notable clock here.
I would that they need their Go for the Throats.
It's free attack.
What's the removal package for AO? Go for the Throat. Gix's Command. That's really that's really it. Yeah, Go for the Throats and Gix's Command.
Five ball to the face.
Nothing in the yard that you want to cast out.
I think I like just passing the turn, flipping farmhand, and then Field of Ruining. But I guess both options are available here. This mono blacklist is not on Invoke, so this is a safe exile effect.
It's big safe. You know they have no enchantment removal here. There's no Feed the Swarm, no Invoke. You're in the clear.
And while not relevant in this game, just in the context overall, if you do target this Flesh Gorger when it's the 3 CMC mode with the ossification, say you invoke it, it comes back into play. It comes in as the 7 mana side. So in a similar effect as if you blink it, it comes in the non-prototype version. So it is quite the upgrade, if you may. And we'll see what they want to do. Because there's the line by Field of Ruining here. You do open up your Sarah Paragon to replay this Field of Ruin from your graveyard, opening up your mana.
Yeah, see if they want to trade here. Say, I might have another One Ring Emperor here. Yeah, they do trade.
So AO.
But guess what? Sarah Paragon comes down.
AO just carries so many of these matches.
Oh,
offense,
yeah. Well,
defense.
Yeah, it can block and attack. I mean, it's flying vigilance, so you can't even like Wandering Emperor itself, and then even if you do board wipe, like it still gets some kind of threat. Like it replaces itself essentially.
So we see full cost George coming down, 7 life swing coming this way. So 8 in the air, but 7 gain back, but then kind of put to lethal. So kind of the best line here is, like normally you wouldn't want your opponent to cast more creatures, but in this case here with the Eternal Wander in hand, you almost want them to cast another creature, so you're able to choose that one. and get around the 7-point life swing here.
Yeah, 100%.
Even with that, the farmhand dying will trigger the life gain condition because of Sarah Paragon recasting it, and then you get to recast a Spirited Companion from your graveyard. So the attacks don't feel great, but you are pressured to attack at this point. The Flesh Gorger, if it doesn't, you just die in the air. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. Killy also has the option to just throw the AO in front of the Flesh Gorger, kind of trading that off to potentially go wider here. A lot of different options.
Honestly, I think that's the better play. If Gorge was to swing, I would trade AO here, because then you get 4 counters on everything. Or distribute 4 counters.
The only thing with that is you don't get yourself out of Gix command. Maybe go for the throat.
Go for the throat, okay. You would get yourself out of Gix command, though.
So what you can do here is your play of put the 4 counters on the Spirited Companion to trade with the Flesh Gorger. But just Lauren off the top, Ossification off the top.
So just Bank Buster Ossification?
I think I like... I think I like... Oh, yeah, I guess you could do both that. You can't do... Lauren is...
you can't do the other one. Yeah, Lauren's just I'm thinking... one. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Scoops it up.
My mind's doing Collected Company. Just pick any 2.
It is total CMC. So you could get 4 1-drops.
Oh, no, that's how my Collected Companies go. Coco into Llanowar Alpha, Vish Mystic, and then the next 3 cards are all your 3-drops. All right, so this matchup, the option to go more Planeswalkers. We see Lorne come in, just incidental, being able to hit the Flesh Gorgers. Sanctuary Warden has kind of a built-in immunity. Obviously, cards like Bankbuster have a lot of value here. Wedding Announcement. This deck's actually very well situated in the main board. Might see a trim of something like Sarah Paragon. We saw a number of different main deck exile effects for the graveyard in just Graveyard Trespasser, with the addition of multiple sideboard options. A card like Brutal Cathar is not great in this matchup, given so much incidental removal that's targeted, so you don't really want to reset taking damage from Flesh Gorger, like I mentioned, to just have it flip over.
Waiting on sideboards here.
Out of the mono black deck, what do they have option wise? So we'll likely see the Ashnod Harvesters come in, the Graveyard Hate, Duress, as well as maybe Gix Command. Cards like Jadar doesn't seem that good. Cut downs, like it's odd. Like you kind of want cut down in this matchup, but at the same time, like hitting one of their tokens or a farmhand doesn't feel great. All right. Well, we see the Dreams. The Dreams hitting some bank busters, but this is a great hand for Mono White, I think. Just going announcement into announcement. Well, it was a great hand if you just keep picking it apart. And I think this is the avenue for Mono Black to actually sneak ahead. Just, pick apart their incidental cards and then be able to drop like a significant threat. Emperor is a great draw there. So there's kind of 2 answers for Shieldred here. We see the Go for the Throats left in. But even that line, it feels like kind of terrible. Like the farmhand already replaced itself in terms of hitting the land drop. You used a premium removal spell on a 1/1. Now, do you fire off Emperor and Step here just for value, or do you hold it?
I don't think you really need to.
So that went down real quick, meaning no instant speed interaction. Now, a couple options here. Gix command does sweep both up because it'll deal with all creatures 2 power, or make them sack their largest. But we're just going to see the Emperor. I think I like the plus there a little bit better, just because if they do have Gix command, you do have a minus there, where in this instance, actually, never mind, because now you'll still have a creature left over. I forgot the wedding announcement was flipping. All right, Shelly's coming down. Likely see the draw go off before Shieldred. Only enchantment on the field, no artifact. And like a professional, lay down arms is coming up. And it's really Gix command or bust at this point. And even then, we're going to see a likely diversification of threats. Minor thing there, I probably would have put the counter on one of the 2/2s. Gets it out of a Gix command range from the sweeper element of it. Gix coming down. Annoyance with Affliction, saying good game. And Killy has done the 11-0
Undefeated. Let's
perfect
go.
sweep of the turn. Killy is inquiring when the tournament starts because they were in practice mode all day. But big congrats, going 11-0.